Ghana's castles and forts are a legacy of our historic past as much as to modern Ghana, Africa and the world. Though built on African soil, they owe their origins to Europeans, Portuguese, the Dutch, French, Britons, Brandenburg-Prussians, Danes and Swedes. In our Who We Are series, GBC News puts in focus Fort Metal Cross, located in the Western region.
The British colonial fortification Fort Metal Cross, originally Dixcove Fort, is in close proximity of the fishing village of Infuma in Dixcove in the western region of Ghana. The fort was built in 1692 to establish a base to search for gold in the surrounding area. It also provided a good operating base for English captains trading with the Germans at Fort Gross, Fredericksburg. The building of the fort was delayed because of local resistance. However, by 1750, the fort had been completed and armed with 25 guns. The fort was taken over by the Dutch in 1868 as part of an Anglo-Dutch agreement. The fort was renamed Metallen Cruise, Metal Cross, after one of the Dutch gunboats which brought the reinforcement. In 1872, the fort reverted to the British, who renamed it Fort Metal Cross. The fort has since been used by both the police and postal services. The chief of Upper or Greater Dixcove leased to the English a promontory site located on the shore of a large and sheltered bay. The cove's calm waters and sandy beach made it an ideal harbor for canoes and small boats, while ships could anchor about 3 kilometers offshore.
6 months, we started the barter trade.
The barter trade started 6 months after the construction of the fort. Precious minerals such as ivory and gold were exchanged for hat, mirror, gunpowder, salt, among others.
For the British, the motive for starting construction of Dixcove Fort in 1692 was identical to that of the Dutch in building the Fort Battenstein to tap into the promise of gold in the hinterland. Also to win back the many English captains trading at the Brandenburgers, Germans Fort Gross, Fredericksburg in nearby Princeton. However, the people of Infuma, loyal to two chiefs whose allegiance swayed between the British and Dutch, besieged the fort several times on behalf of the Dutch, stalling its completion. It was a cemetery site before the fort was built. Gold was never found, and the facility was used more for the repair and provision of food to passing ships. It was also used as a slave prison. The fort has 3 dungeons where the slaves were kept, 2 dungeons for men, 1 for women, and each contained 25 slaves.
The ship came every 3 months to convey the slaves and their traded items. The slaves were marked with metal cross as a term of identification to prevent them from escaping.
During the Kundum festival, chiefs and people of the western region go to the fort to perform rituals.
The life of a 14-year-old virgin is the sacrifice on which the fort was built. She was buried alive.
Going the gate of no return, was sharing an number. They are harmless again, and then the chief first abandoned and pay for
the inner structure has apartments, storage rooms, and kitchen arranged round a small courtyard. A place was set as a market ground.
Steps from main gates to Hano, name there, cross.
Fort Metal Cross derives its name from the inner architecture of the building.
Fort we see the cross we see the shape. So when there was the metal cross, now what they told. It's a Hana Wafa, what they call governor room and a market room.
There is a bell on top of the building which they use to communicate whenever enemies are coming to fight them.
These cannons were used to defend themselves against their enemies.
Gunpowder, waji jana kaha na ifi na okokobo shape.
There is a guest house around the fort.
Nuna wa ba ha ifi na guest house yesisi ona no bi.
One white man changed the scenery around the fort and built these guest houses. He lived in the fort for some time.
Until 2000, I been now for 40 if you late now for class. I say this is
COVID-19 has slowed down tourist visits to the fort. Indeed, these historic buildings were no respecter of persons. An extraordinary history was made once when one castle, Elmina, held prisoners an Asante king in all his splendor during the first stage of his forced exile from Ghana. Hence, not only modern Ghanaians, but also many in countries of the Western Hemisphere and elsewhere have a stake in ensuring that these historic castles and forts are properly preserved.